Look at this box art I reported yesterday on the Game of the Year Edition leak for Horizon Zero Dawn, and a week before I posted a prediction on why this would happen, and now it's officially announced as the Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. It will be released on December 5th in the US and December 6th, 2017 in Europe. It will contain the Frozen Wilds DLC and all the Digital Deluxe Edition content for $50. So that is a pretty good deal because the Frozen Wilds is $20, so $30 for the deluxe edition of the base game. A really good deal. And again, you want to have that box art in your collection. Before I go a little bit more in depth on the box art, I think there's something interesting about it, but I might be crazy. Anyway, first, the big elephant in the room here, of course, the fact that it's called Complete Edition. While with the Game of the Year Edition, I could make a point that yes, they do it for this year, a Game of the Year Edition now, and add more content to the game later, just like Rocket League did, for example. With the Complete Edition, there's no other way to interpret this than this is it. This Horizon Zero Dawn, after the Frozen Wilds, there will be no more expansions. So I asked the senior producer of Guerrilla Games on Twitter, and as awesome as he is, he replied with the following: "This is the only expansion we are working on at the moment," end quote. Not saying that after the Frozen Wilds it's over, but also not implying that there will be more expansions after the Frozen Wilds. So you can look at it in a negative way, paint a grim picture, Frozen Wilds is it, but then we have to wait for 2-3 years to get a new Horizon game, while we want to live in this world for more hours, more expansions. But I just can't help but think about many other things that are going on at Guerrilla Games right now. They're hiring a ton of people. The studio is already enormous, counting more than 250 people, and they're hiring more people to work on upcoming projects. Yes, with an S. While a new game would be one, right? So what are these other people working on if it's not an expansion? You got the new game, and because looking at all the job descriptions, it also like implies that this is indeed a open world title, this is indeed for new machines, this is indeed for Horizon Zero Dawn projects. Of course, they say that they're not working on an expansion right now, but it could also be that the team that is working on the Frozen Wilds might move over to a new expansion after the Frozen Wilds is finished, and at this point that is of course not the case. Maybe they want to learn from the Frozen Wilds and build on that. That the team that is working on the Frozen Wilds right now will continue to support the game we have now on our PS4. And if that's not the case, then Guerrilla Games is going extremely aggressive on this sequel game that will obviously be Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or whatever they will call it, because they already have an enormous team, a team that you would normally have when you're like in full production of a new game. I can't help but think about the things that Herman Hulst said, for example at the Dutch Film Festival, where he was talking about Horizon Zero Dawn and that they now have the base and can easily build more stories on that, implying to me that he is looking indeed at more expansions than just one. Not only Herman, but also Sony said at E3 that they want to leverage their IP more, that the heavy lifting for some IPs, including Horizon Zero Dawn, was already done, so they can easily add more content to that. Moving on after the Frozen Wilds is not really what I envisioned after they said that. So yeah, many things going on, but to be honest, it doesn't look good at all for me, and you probably hoping for more Horizon Zero Dawn expansions after the Frozen Wilds. If they're not working on more right now, that doesn't really paint a great picture at all. Speaking of pictures, this box art, again, what a piece of art. The Thunderjaws are thinking, what the heck is going on? And I might be going crazy, but isn't this a new bow that Aloy is using here? It looks like a sharp shot bow, looking at the beats, of course, here. But what is this? An extension, a dagger in there or something? Like I said, maybe I'm going crazy, but I have not seen this before. I checked out the strategy guide, it's not in there as well. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like a new weapon. So again, a lot to unpack. Kind of sad news, but we never know. This might be that they're just like focusing on one expansion first and then maybe move on to the next. Complete Edition though kinda implies that this is it. When we know more about the future of Horizon Zero Dawn and of course the Frozen Wilds, remember, we still really don't know a lot about the Frozen Wilds expansion. Subscribe to stay up to date on everything Horizon Zero Dawn. Like this video to support the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.